On Mountain News this morning, a former Eastern Kentucky sheriff appears in court for a hearing that ended very quickly. And people voiced their frustrations about a proposed rate increase from Kentucky Power.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Good Friday morning to you. I'm Caroline Mueller here with you on this December 19th. The time is now 5:31. Let's go ahead and check in with meteorologist Megan Desmel for a look at your forecast this morning. Megan, I'm still thinking about just how crazy that storm was last night. I mean, like I was saying earlier, my porch chairs flew completely off. I was very surprised when I walked out the door this morning.
Yeah, it was in fact very windy last night. We're thankfully starting to see that calm down as we're heading into the morning, but by the time we head into the afternoon, we're looking at completely normal wind gusts for this time of year. So let's kind of break down that forecast a little bit more, as we are seeing some remaining showers from yesterday's system. Now it's just this one line right now that's stretching from portions of Whitley County to Rowan County, and most of it's rain. However, we're starting to see that transition into the wintry mix starting as temperatures are dropping near or below freezing throughout the next couple hours. Now, in terms of what we're seeing right now, you're going to notice a lot of upper 30s and low 40s. However, right where we're starting to see that division in between that rain and that snow, you can almost see that line there. That's where you're going to start to see some of those colder temperatures really starting to pop out in that forecast. Now, in terms of when we're seeing those temperatures hitting a low today, it won't be around 7 o'clock like normal. It'll be around that 11 o'clock time frame with a secondary high as we're heading into about 4 p.m. Caroline.
Thanks, Megan. Former Letcher County Sheriff Mickey Steins was in court yesterday, but the hearing was adjourned before it even began. Steins is charged with the murder of Letcher County District Judge Kevin Mullins. His defense team was expected to discuss several motions with the Commonwealth, including a motion to change the location of the trial and a motion to set bond. But once seated, Judge Christopher Corrin said some issues had come up before the meeting, and he was postponing the status hearing until those were discussed. He didn't share any details about that, but prosecutors say the cause of the continuance should be clear in the days to come. Deputies in Wayne County, Kentucky arrested a woman last month for 2 counts of endangering the welfare of a minor after an investigation into the abuse of her own 2 children. Kaylee Judd was indicted on Tuesday along with Nathaniel Hall for 3 counts of first-degree criminal abuse. Doctors at the Wayne County Hospital told deputies Judd's children had multiple injuries on their bodies, which led to her arrest. The state Supreme Court is denying an injunction to remove London Mayor Randall Weddle. That motion was filed by the London City Council earlier this year after they voted to impeach Weddle and replace him with Tracy Handley. Weddle appealed that impeachment and was reinstated in September after a judge ruled in his favor. Kentucky Supreme Court is denying the council's motion to remove Weddle again and to reinstate Tracy Handley. Their ruling sends the case back to the State Court of Appeals, saying it's, quote, not warranted under law. The second public comment meeting was held last night where the Public Service Commission invited folks to share their concerns about a proposed rate increase from Kentucky Power. WYMT's McKinley Calandrino has more from the Perry County Courthouse.
Since Kentucky Power announced the proposed 14.9% rate increase for residential customers, people have been sharing their concerns and frustrations.
I think it's ridiculous what the power company's doing.
Thursday in Hazard, that was no exception, as customers asked the Public Service Commission the hard questions, like why the increase was proposed in the first place.
What does the power company do with the money that they already have?
Lawmakers, business owners, even students shared their experiences and how this rate increase would impact families throughout the mountains.
She said, "Preacher, I need to talk to you about something," and I knew what that was. She can't pay her power bill this month. Is this rate increase fair to her?
Many in coal country just want to know why this is happening and pointing out it's not the first rate increase in the last few years.
You talk about raising the rates on these people. You're talking about raising rates on some of the most vulnerable populations in this country.
Angie Hatton, the chair of the PSC, says They are listening and they hear the concerns.
We do the very best we can to go over every rate application with the fine-tooth comb and cut out everything that's not reasonable. But, power companies are entitled to their costs, and costs are increasing for everyone.
Those opposed to the bill increase say they will not back down.
It shouldn't even be an issue around here because people struggle. We've had floods and everything, and people's trying to recover from that, let alone have to pay $400 and $500 electric bills.
And they just want the answers. In Perry County, McKinley Calandrino, WYMT Mountain News.
The next and final meeting the PSC will host will be on January 8th at 5 o'clock at the Ashland Transportation Center. Hearings in Frankfort will begin on Tuesday, January 13th. In his Team Kentucky briefing yesterday, Governor Beshear announced the state's projected budget deficit has been cut nearly in half. The governor says the consensus forecasting group originally projected a $305 million deficit in the current budget, but this week the group revised the projection down to $156 million. Kentucky law still requires the shortfall to be addressed, so the governor says he's implementing a 3% reduction for state agencies and constitutional offices. The governor says cuts will not be made to education, Medicaid, pensions, and public safety. But he says some constitutional offices are refusing to make budget cuts.
The auditor and the treasurer have just said no. They won't take part or do their part, even though this is all set up by state law. The other constitutional officers we have not received a plan from, but we hope and expect to get one.
In a statement, State Auditor Allison Ball says state law says the governor can't demand constitutional officers reduce their budgets. She also says the governor hasn't followed her recommendations for reducing wasteful spending her office has identified. We are also getting new reaction from Governor Beshear after Ford announced plans to repurpose the battery plant in Kentucky. The switch up will lead to a roughly 1,600 Blue Oval SK workers being laid off. Last week, Ford and SK announced they're ending their partnership, and Ford will take over all the Kentucky battery plants, including one in Hardin County. Ford then shared they're shifting from EV batteries to batteries designed for data centers.
What we've done is we've drawn about a 45-minute drive radius from Glendale, and we've compiled all of the jobs announcements that we've made. We're looking at all the companies out there that are hiring, and there are a lot of really good spots with really good companies.
Federal law requires employees get 60 days on the job after receiving a layoff notice. Ford is planning to bring 2,100 jobs to the plant once it's retooled. Kentucky businesses that sell tobacco, nicotine, and vape products are facing a new licensing requirement under Senate Bill 100. While the law was passed earlier this year, retailers say the application system didn't open until mid-November. Carly Hogston explains why many say time is running out.
The potential is there that come January 1st, if a store has not gotten a license, even if their application's been submitted, they will not be able to sell tobacco products.
The Kentucky Retail Federation says the issue is timing. Although Senate Bill 100 passed in March, the licensing portal didn't open till mid-November, giving retailers only weeks to apply and putting wholesalers at risk for delivering to unlicensed stores. We asked Governor Andy Beshear about these concerns.
Yeah, I need to check on that. If there's a challenge there, we'll look into it, and certainly businesses should be treated fairly.
For Namir Al-Saad, owner of Vibe Smoke Shop, he says even though he was fortunate to get the license, he still believes the messaging is unclear.
I just want things to be more clear on what's allowed and what's not allowed.
Al-Saad says once the application opened, he moved quickly to gather paperwork and submit everything required.
I had to provide everything that has to do with this kind of business. My sources, my store, how my store looks like.
A few days later, he received approval, but this isn't the case for most, so he recommends to start your application now. He says even though that it's time-consuming, it ensures that stores are selling safe products.
There's a lot of people in this industry that cut corners, and in my store, the day I opened 3 years ago, I didn't want to cut corners. I kind of wanted to be 100%. To myself and to the community as well.
For now, Carly Hogston, WKYT.
We reached out to Kentucky Alcoholic Beverage Control, who regulates the applications, and they declined our request for an interview. For the second day in a row, someone has filed for state representative in the 95th District. Wednesday, we told you about attorney and former WYMT anchor Tanner Hesterberg entering the race. Yesterday, Willie Crace followed suit. The pastor, who is running as a Republican, posted to social media about his decision to run, saying he viewed the opportunity as a calling to servant leadership. The 95th District covers Floyd County as well as parts of Pike County. At last check, the incumbent, Democrat Ashley Tackett Lafferty, had not filed to run. The Laurel County Sheriff's Office is getting ready to help local families this holiday season. Operation Polar Express and a community coat drive will provide toys, winter clothing, and food for kids across the county. The Sheriff's Office says donations from community members, including families, kids, and local organizations, will help make sure children have what they need this winter.
We just want to help. It's the time of year for giving, and we want to make sure we do our part.
Operation Polar Express and the coat drive begin Monday morning at 8 at the Laurel County Sheriff's Office, and donations can still be dropped off through Monday morning. Medical experts provided tips on how to protect your children from increasing cases of whooping cough in West Virginia. One doctor we spoke with says that the best way to prevent getting whooping cough is to stay up to date with vaccinations. He also recommends staying home and avoiding close contact with others to prevent the disease from spreading. The best thing you can do if you think you're getting sick, go to the doctor.
If you think you have it, go to the doctor. If you know you are exposed to someone who had it, go to the doctor, because they can treat you before you get sick to keep you from getting sick.
Doctors say early symptoms of whooping cough can be like a common cold until the coughing gets worse. Doctors say that especially for infants, it can cause the throat to close up, so it's very important to stay proactive. Wednesday, we reported there were 2 new cases of whooping cough in Floyd County. Coming up, SpongeBob is back on the big screen starting today. That and more in a look of today's entertainment report.
And are you wondering if we'll get rain on Christmas? Well, I have that answer.